Hi, Cutie Pies. It is Lanickia, and I am coming to you with The Good Doctor, Season 5, Episode 3, called Measure of Intelligence. Y'all, this episode was not much. And to be quite honest with you, I feel like The Good Doctor has let too many of the main characters that we first fell in love with go. And then on this episode, they were trying to bring the new people in to give them more, I guess, make them have more of a back. I don't like it. Let me just say, I don't like it. I want to see Sean. I don't know. Let me just get into this episode and stop complaining. So it starts off with Leah waking up and Sean is not in the bed because he has went and did all of their save the dates because, on the last episode, it ended with him having kind of a little of a breakdown because everything is changing. He doesn't like the scrubs. He doesn't like the hand dryers. It's just all changing, and he's not had the soap and everything. So he's doing the save the date, and he's worked out all the different ways that he could let Salen know that the hospital was better. Hey, girl, was better before she made all of these changes. And so so he's doing the save the date and everything. So she's thanking him for that. So then we see Lim and Mateo. And again, he's so confident that I can handle Andrews. I've had to deal with dictators and all those, I guess important people. So he can handle Andrews. And Lim is just like, I don't know, he's gonna be watching you or whatever. But there we go with that. But she tells him to make it work with Andrews as well. So then we see that so Morgan, Park, and Nicole are in the the changing room, locker room, getting dressed, getting changed up and everything, shower room. And so, Nicole is like, I really love this, workout. And Morgan is like, she wasn't feeling well, like she was so hot last night and everything. So when Parks leave, we find out that Morgan is afraid to lose her manners in front of him. Because she wants him to see her as, they started out their relationship all hot and heavy, and she wants him to keep seeing her like that. And she's like, that would like kill the vibe. The girl from Real Housewives of New Jersey, she married Teresa's brother. She said she doesn't use the bathroom or anything in front of him. She doesn't do any of that kind of, like number 2, of course. She doesn't do any of that in front of him because she wants to keep the sexy in their marriage. And I mean, they're still together. I guess it works. I can't think of her name, but I guess it works. But anyways, getting back to the Good Doctor. So then we see that. Okay, so Salen is in the bathroom too. So when Nicole goes around, she says, go ahead. When he's in that shower, go take a dump. And it separates the men from the boys because boys will be all grossed out. Oh, I can't stand a grown man that says ew, y'all. I was on this date and I talked about putting fruit in my water because I like flavored water. That's how, it makes me drink more water. And he was like, ew. And I was like, oh. I was over it. It doesn't take much, but after that, I was like, I'm over it. Bye, sir. But anyways, Salem tells her, go ahead and just get it over with. So then we see that a victim comes in, right? And he has went face first into the pavement or rail or pavement or something. But anyway, he's messed up his face. And so Sean is like, oh, we're going to have to do 3 surgeries. And Asher is there, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cool. And the EMT guy was like, and they were like, because we get to help the victim. And Sean was like, yeah, but them 3 surgeries are going to be cool. And him and Asher couldn't contain their excitement. So the EMT guy put she has all those buttons around on how was the service and all that. And he put a sad, like an angry face or something like that. Sir, just bring the man in and go on about your day. But, they shouldn't have been so excited. Like, the patient is right there, needing her help right now. They just brought him in. But, sir, go on about your day. It did not concern you. Okay. So then we see that Sean talks to everyone else. Okay. Let me wrap this up. Sean is talking to everyone else about all the different changes in the scrubs because he doesn't like them, but everyone likes them but Sean. So they're like, I'm good with it and everything. And he was like, really? The hair dryer, the hand dryer and all that, and they're like, yeah, we're pretty good. And so then we see Mateo. Okay. So Mateo, Andrews, and Parks talk because they have a woman who comes in and she's having seizures, and they want to take the implant out of her brain because it's not making them any money. So they're like, we're not going to keep updating this, the other hospital. So Mateo, Parks, and Andrews has to come up with a way to do it. Now, Mateo has a great idea, but the way he gives it to Parks, like, kind of like flat. I thought he was trying to flatter him or whatever he was. But Parks was like, the way he was trying to give it to Andrews didn't work because Andrews was like, you don't have to manage me up. Like, if you have a great idea, just say your idea, and if I like it, I don't, like, personal feelings don't come into this, or whatever. And so, they agreed to, go with his idea and everything. So then we see Leah goes to mail out the save the dates that Sean had created earlier, and she sees his mom in there, and she takes it out and puts it in her purse because, all that happened with Sean's mom. And so Salem meets up with Parks, Mateo, and Andrews, and she says, that's a risky surgery you guys are trying to do. What's plan B? And they're like, there is no plan B. We're going to do this surgery. It's going to work, and that's it. And she was like, that's too risky, and she could sue us. Like, if this surgery goes wrong, she could sue us for this because it's such of a risky surgery or whatever. Find a plan B. So then Mateo gets all upset, like, we can't do the surgery and all this. And Andrews is like, because Andrews technically could go ahead and do the surgery, but he's like, he doesn't want to because he wants to be, on Salem's good side. And so then Mateo is all upset and everything. So Parks was like, let Andrews work on Salem and we'll go and research, like she wants us to do, another way that this could possibly be done. So then we see that Lim and Salem disagree about the surgery for the guy who had the bike. Okay, so they disagree because Salem is like, he spent $10,000 on a bike. He should have been getting himself some better insurance. We're not going to do his 3 surgeries on him because that's what Sean had said. Remember earlier when they got in trouble? So Sean was like, he's going to need like 3 surgeries to reconstruct his face. And they was like, instead of spending $10,000 on that bike, he should have invested in some better insurance. Mind you, y'all, investing in better insurance because I'm sure this is probably how it goes at hospitals. But she was like, he should have invested in some better insurance. And Lim was just like, you said you made an oath to, protect, bring in people and help and all that. She was like, yeah. People who can't like really afford it because they're poor or whatever. Not people who could have actually afforded good insurance and chose not to do it. So she's like, y'all not doing that surgery. Too expensive. No. And so then we see Sean goes to Glassman. And he's trying to get, he goes to Glassman's office, but he's not there because y'all know he's pretty much checked out and everything. So then we see Mateo is upset, and he's talking to Lim, and she was like, Lim? Is it Lim? Anyways, she's like, you're just upset because you haven't had a boss in a long time, and he's someone that can tell you no. And he was like, oh, I hate when you're right. I don't like these two. I don't know what it is about that. I was never a huge fan of hers, and then he comes in, and I'm not a huge fan of his either. I wasn't even on the last episode of season 4. I thought he was a jerk then too. We already had enough jerks with Andrews because he was like one of those borderline a-holes. You know what I mean? So I'm not really here for him or whatever. But let's keep on going. So then so then Andrews goes to Salem, right? And he tells her, well, you made me rethink, and so I'm looking at this, and we're gonna see where her seizures start and all that. He just keeps her in the loop, and she was like, thank you for telling me, because everyone is kind of like looking at her like, all you want to do is save money instead of approaching her as instead of approaching her with, this is why, as a surgeon, this is why I want to do this, and so she appreciated that he kept her in a loop with that. So then we see Leah and Morgan talk, and she pretty much just tells Leah, because Leah was telling her about Sean's mom and the save the date, and she was like, so, and Leah was telling Morgan about that, and Morgan was telling Leah about how she can't lose her manners in front of Parks. And so Leah was like, I had atomic, wings one time on the, like when I first moved in with Sean, and it was so disgusting. I had diarrhea and all that, and he helped me out. She was like, men don't care or whatever. Like if he cares, then he's just not for you. And so Morgan told Leah, so you had the worst diarrhea ever, and you're afraid to tell Sean that you don't want his mom at the save the date, like you don't want to give her the save the date, you don't want her at the wedding. And that was it, pretty much. I feel like they're forcing Leah, because literally they have to keep, we have to like her, because she's with Sean or whatever, even though I like Carla better, but whatever, that's not. But I don't know, I just feel like they're forcing people onto us. Hold on just a second. Alright, sorry, I had to take a mommy break. So I just feel like they're forcing people on us, and they're forcing us to try to like people and invest. I don't know, maybe it's just me and I can't invest in nobody else, because y'all lose too many people at the end of the season. Like, I had just started liking Melendez and you lost him. I was loving me some Carla and you got rid of her. And then Claire, that was my girl, and y'all got rid of her. I'm like, well, y'all didn't get rid of these people, but I mean, Carla, I think y'all did, but the other people are like, quit. But I'm just like, I can't invest anymore in these people. I can't get tied up emotionally and then have them leave. I'm borderline. I like Sailing, but she could probably be gone next season. But anyways, let's wrap this up. So then they go in for the implant, and they find out that they remove the implant and everything, and they find out that her seizure is actually way worse now. So the surgery that Mateo was wanting to do is actually going to be way more risky now, is what they find out. Will they turn off the implant? And so then we see that Mateo tries to make a choice. Is it going to be Sailing, or are you going to do the surgery or whatever? And Andrews is like, I don't choose either with them. Y'all keep working on like how we can do this, just researching it out, and I'll work with Sailing. Sir, back off. So then we see that they're in the surgery with the bike guy, and they're like, well, we got to figure out a way we can do these surgeries. And so Nicole comes up with they could do 2 surgeries or whatever. But before all this happens, Sean is still trying to gauge people's reaction. They're like, Sean, we like the changes. Like, it is what it is. We like the changes. And excuse me, Asher speaks down on God, about praying to a magical guy or whatever, which he knows Nicole is very religious. So Nicole was offended by that. And that's pretty much how it goes. They just figure out that they can do the 2 surgeries. So then we see that Sean goes to Glassman. And Glassman is just like, he makes Sean tells him, get in here and stomp on the grapes. And Glassman tells him, stomp on the grapes. And Sean was going to try. He tried it, y'all. He tried it. And then he was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And you used to enjoy, you don't like doing this woodwork. You don't like stomping on grapes. You don't like doing any of this. You used to like your job. And because Sean is upset and he leaves. And so then we see Lim and Morgan. Okay. So Lim and Morgan get into it because Lim tries to speak to Andrews about Mateo, and he said, no. If your boyfriend has something to say with me about the way I handle things, he needs to say it to me. Like, come on, that's why. So then Morgan hears it, and she's like, woo. Rough day or whatever. And then Lim, she lashes out. They're lashing out at each other because Lim tells Morgan, the reason you don't want to lose your manners in front of Parks is because you're afraid that the sexiness that he saw at first, once you lose your manners, he's not gonna want you no more or whatever. And Morgan was just like, it was the truth, but it was the truth, but she didn't have to say it to it like that. But she was upset because she's frustrated. Lim is frustrated with Salem, and then she's frustrated about Mateo and Andrews or whatever. Which this would not be an issue if the last episode she had not been pushing for Mateo so hard over Andrews, trying to make him look good in front of Salem with Andrews. Make him look good over Andrews in front of Salem. Okay, so then we see. That Andrews and so Lim goes to Andrews and she says, because she had Lim had went to Andrews and he had told her, listen, she's not your adversary, and you're gonna get, like, what is that the saying? You're gonna get more honey with flies with honey. So he tells her, be nice to the woman, talk to her and just tell her. And so she tries to, and she goes up there talking about we're not adversaries. Like, she started the conversation off good, but at the bottom line, Salem told Lim, this is, I've already done all of this, and I expect when I say something for you to just follow it. That's pretty much what she told her. And then she looked on the books and saw that Andrews had scheduled a surgery because he had went to visit Dr. Glassman as well, and Dr. Glassman was like, you already know what you can schedule this surgery, you don't need her approval and all that or whatever, you just want to know how you could do it and not get on her bad side or whatever. It is what it is. I mean, he didn't help him either. Everybody gave him to Dr. Glassman. He did not help him. Like, this man has lost his wife because he put this job before her and everyone else's needs. So he's like, I'm doing me right now, and it's destructive as heck, but go ahead, Dr. Glassman, do what you got to do. So then we see that Salem goes up, and Andrew tells her, listen, this is a good surgery. We're going to do this surgery. I want you on this side. He's like, Mateo is a jock. He's one of those surgical jocks. Give him this surgery, and he'll do 50 knee replacements because he'll be so grateful that he got to do this miracle surgery and, parade around. I'm adding on. Parade around and be all happy that he got to do the surgery, that he won't mind doing all those knee replacements. And he told her, like, you need somebody on your side because Dr. Glassman not saying nothing. Because he's like, keep my clinic going and I'm out your hair. And he was like, you need somebody on your side because these people are not happy about all these changes or whatever. Especially like with you wanting to save money. He was like, I get it, but come on now. And so she was like, yeah, I understand. Okay. So they have an understanding with each other. So then they do the surgery. It goes well. That's pretty much, I'm wrapping that up. I'm wrapping this whole episode up because I'm on 20 minutes and I don't know how because this episode was nothing. I don't know how. Sorry to the people who really are enjoying The Doctor. I enjoy The Doctor as well, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. So then we see Ashner and Nicole. They're still getting into it about religion, and he doubles down. Like, okay, this was my issue with this. There's nothing wrong with him having, if he wants to be atheist, be atheist, who cares? But, I mean, people care, but some people care, but, some people care about other people being Christian. But, listen, neither here nor there. All I'm saying is, if you want to be that, and you have a friend who's religious, respect that. Maybe y'all don't bring it up. That's all I'm saying. Like, they made this something that didn't even have to be anything. Just added to the storyline I guess to give us some more depth into them. I don't care. But, so, he double downs on it, and then they go, they're patient, they're not going to be able to do the 2 surgeries that Nicole had recommended because he has an infection, so they need to do the 3 surgeries. But Salem, they can. They have to find a way to do this. Because if they don't do the 3 surgeries, then he will not be able to eat solid foods and his vision will be blurred for the rest of his life. And so they decide that what they're going to try to do. So they're trying to think about everything and think it all over and stuff. So it's Sean Nicole and Ashner. And he just keeps going on about religion. And so then Sean is like, hey, you guys stop that. Like, I can't concentrate with y'all big fussing like this. And so then Ashner was like, oh, but complaining about the scrubs and the soaps and all that, that helps. And so Nicole was like, that's rude. You know he has is it ASD? His autism. And Sean was like, it's not about my autism and all that. Fine as God. Sorry, Lord. And so then Nicole said, I'm sorry. And she was like, Ashton, it's not that hard. All you had to do is say, I'm sorry. Like, you hurt my feelings. I'm offended. And he was trying to apologize. But you know how people apologize and it's not an apology. I'm sorry that you failed. Like, that's not an apology. But anyways, they make up in the surgery because Sean has another meltdown because he can't deal with the scrubs and everything. So he goes to Salem and he tells her, listen. And he makes his point about this, and she was like, I'm right on this, Sean, but you're right also. He was like, we can't both be right. And she was like, yes, we are. She said, I have to be understanding enough to know that you're a different type of doctor, and you're unique. And so you can wear the scrubs. Nobody else can. Excuse me, sinus. You can wear the scrubs, and I will put the paper towels and the soap back to where it was. And he's like, okay, cool. So they put it back, and Sean is able to think of his plan because he was trying to think of his plan earlier, but the hand dryer went off, and he was like, That's when he went to Salem. And so then we find out that they are able to have the surgery because Sean thinks of another way to do it, and so they, and that's successful as well. Parks and Oh, and when they were having the surgery for the woman with the seizure, because that wasn't successful as well, Mateo did apologize to Andrews, and Andrews let him know that I'm a surgeon at the end of the day. I'm always going to be on the side of surgery. All right. So then we see that Parks and Morgan are at home watching TV, and he was like, Are you okay? And she was like, yeah. And then she was like, no. And she finally loses her manners in front of him, and he was like, oh my gosh, thank God. And so he loses his manners in front of her. I don't know why I write all these notes for this episode. He loses his manners in front of her as well. And so, they just important people. So that was it, y'all. That was pretty much it at the end. And I don't mean to be like, ugh. But it was like one of those filler episodes. I'm like, it's a season for y'all to be doing a filler episode. Leah finally told Sean that she didn't want his mom at the wedding. He was like, the only reason I invited her is because the book said you had to. And she was like, oh, thank God. So his mom's not going to be at the wedding. And then Ashner and Nicole went and had karaoke. He apologized to her, a sincere apology. And it's all over, said, good and done. So at the end of the day, everybody was apologizing. Mateo apologized to Andrews. They're cool. Ashner apologized to Nicole. They're cool. And Dr. Glassman is the only one. Yeah, because Leo went to visit him. Everybody went to visit him, and he ain't help nobody. So that was the Good Doctor, y'all. I will see you on the next episode. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna be on the next episode, and I'm gonna have a better attitude. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.